how to build an automated business with AI. That's the exact question I asked myself a few months ago when I realized something. I was spending hours creating content, planning ideas, and trying to stay consistent. But no matter how motivated I was, I kept running into the same problem. Time. I didn't have enough of it. So instead of working harder, I decided to try something different. I wanted to see if I could build a system that works for me, not just using AI as a tool, but using it as something that actually runs tasks in the background. So I gave myself a challenge: build a fully automated business using only free AI tools, no coding, no budget, and no team. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what I built, what worked, what didn't, and how you can do the same. Before building this one, everything I did was manually. I had to think of ideas, write content, edit it, and then publish it. And the hardest part wasn't the work itself, it was staying consistent. Some days I had energy, some days I didn't. And when you don't have a system, everything depends on your mood and motivation. That's when I started exploring how to automate content creation using AI. At first, I thought it would be simple. Just use AI tools and let them do the work. But I didn't work like that. The outputs were inconsistent, sometimes irrelevant, and honestly not usable. That's when I realized something important. The problem wasn't the tool. The problem was how I was using them. I didn't have a clear structure. I didn't have a workflow. And most importantly, I didn't know how to guide AI properly. So here's what I'm going to do in this video. First, I will show you the simple business model I used to build this system. Then I will break down how to build a simple AI workflow with no coding, step by step. After that, I will explain the most important part, which is how to write better AI prompts for automation using my RTCO prompting system to fix AI mistakes. And finally, I will show you what actually happened when I tested this system in real use. This is not theory, this is based on what I personally built and experienced. The model I used is very simple and beginner friendly. It's based on content and consistency. The idea is to create valuable content using AI and then connect that content to a monetization method like affiliate links or simple digital offers. But instead of focusing on creating perfect content, I focused on building a perfect system. I focused on building a system that produces content continuously. That's the difference. Most people try to do everything manually and burn out. I wanted something that works even when I am not actively working. So the goal was not just to create content. The goal was to create a system that generates, builds, and prepares content automatically. Once I understood that, everything became much clearer. Now let's talk about the tools. But keep this in mind. Tools are not the main thing. The system is. I used simple and accessible tools that anyone can start with. One for generating ideas and writing, one for formatting and visuals, and one for automation. The key is not how many tools you use, but how well they connect together. If you are trying to use 5 or 10 different tools without a structure, you will get overwhelmed quickly. Instead, I kept everything minimal. The goal was to create a smooth flow from idea to output. And this is where most people fail. They collect tools, but they don't build workflows. What you need is a clear path from start to finish. This is the part that changed everything for me. And this is also where most people struggle without realizing it. When I first tried using AI for automation, the results were inconsistent. Sometimes the output was good, and most of the time it wasn't reliable. That's when I started focusing on how to write better AI prompts for automation. And that's where I created a simple structure called RTCO. It stands for role, task, context, and output. Instead of giving random instructions, I started giving structured direction. For example, instead of saying write a blog post, I would say act as an expert content strategist. Your task is to create a beginner-friendly guide. The context is someone with no prior knowledge, and the output should be clear, actionable. Once I started using this method, everything improved. The AI became more accurate, more consistent, and useful. This is what makes automation possible. Without a structured prompting system, your workflow will break. With it, your system becomes reliable. Now let's connect everything into one system. The first step is idea generation. The AI generates multiple content ideas based on your niche. The second step is content creation. Using structured prompts, those ideas are turned into usable content. The third step is formatting and preparing the content for publishing. And the final step is automation. This is where the system repeats itself without manual effort. This is essentially an AI automation tutorial for beginners 2026 because it focuses on simplicity and clarity. The goal is not to build a complex system. The goal is to build a system that works consistently. Once everything is connected, you don't have to start from zero every day. The system continues running, producing content, and saving your time. This is what it means to build an automated business with AI for free in a practical way. So what actually happened when I tested this system? First, it wasn't perfect. There were small errors and things I had to adjust. But the biggest difference was this: I was no longer doing everything manually. The system was doing most of the work. I was saving time, and most importantly, I was consistent. And that That's something I struggled with before. This is not a shortcut to instant success, but it is a way to remove friction and make progress easier. Instead of relying on motivation, you rely on systems, and that changes everything over time. If you want to try this, avoid a few key mistakes. Don't overcomplicate your workflow. Keep it simple and clear. Don't rely on too many tools at once. Focus on one system and don't ignore prompting. Your results depends on how well you guide the AI. If your prompts are unclear, your outputs will be weak. Focus on structure, not the perfection. That's how you build something that actually works. So that's how to build automated business with AI in a practical and beginner-friendly way. It's not about working harder or using more tools. It's a building a system that works for you. Once you understand how to connect workflows and guide AI properly, everything becomes more efficient. If you want to go deeper into this, I recommend watching my previous video, how to prompt AI correctly to get better results. It became the foundation behind everything you saw here. Once you master that, your entire system becomes more powerful and more reliable over time. See you soon in the next one.